Welcome to a QMA podcast. Here we explore rewiring your powers within to not only gain a genius intellect, but ultimately become superhuman. Using quantum mind acceleration, one could not only upgrade their mind to a genius level, but also create at a quantum level and speed of achievement. Further, by raising one's consciousness to discover your life purpose, plus activating your divine hidden powers, one can then become who they truly are, yourself. I'm your host today, Vanessa Nehler. And to kick us off with today's topic, let's hear a message from Master JD as an introduction to QMA and its related benefits.
Welcome to the wonderful world of quantum mind acceleration. You know, Einstein and Tesla were arguably masters of quantum mind acceleration, perhaps a major factor why they were light years ahead of everyone else. They could collapse time, manipulate energy, and create. Both understood that everything is energy. For the moment, just imagine if you too could upgrade your mind, get on the genius wave frequency, perform at a quantum level of achievement, or potentially become superhuman. Hi, I'm Master JD. My passion and calling is to gather together 120 profound leaders from around the world to learn QMA. They should all dramatically go to the next level of intellect, achievement, and abundance, and hopefully use a portion of their newfound skills or wealth for good. Collectively, we can have a very positive impact upon humanity. By way of brief introduction, I am a master of consciousness, a grandmaster of quantum mind acceleration. There are only a few hundred such masters globally. I am, however, likely the only master in the world teaching our QMA process. I am humbled and honored to share our incredible master process with selected leaders such as yourself. Our QMA process, it only takes 12 days to complete, generally just from the comfort of your own home. Upon successful completion, you will then be invited to join the QMA Private Club. Membership is exclusive and limited to just 120 members. Your membership is for life and designed to be passed down to your next generations. Imagine a social club designed for good with like-minded leaders from around the world who are progressing towards becoming superhuman. It is our opinion that no member need ever suffer disease. Our club is devoted to each member's longevity, to their health, happiness, and their abundance, whilst creating lifelong friendships and building strong and trusted relationships. You know, over the past 15 years or so, I have studied intensely to arrive at where I am today. But it was not until the discovery of QMA that I truly took a quantum leap well beyond even my own comprehension. It actually took years to reach and then transcend into the sixth dimension on the levels of consciousness. With the help of QMA, I then quantum jumped into the 12th dimension and achieved full consciousness within weeks and not years. You know, we all possess innate or divine powers, yet everyone is truly unique. Here are a few of the benefits that QMA could offer. Your mind can upgrade almost instantly, quantum leap into the most powerful version of yourself and higher self, be years ahead of everyone else in your field. Stress and anxiety just dissipates. You gain the clarity and live without fear. Your skills sharpen instantly. You can manifest virtually whatever you want. You gain the intelligence, wealth, and mastery of someone who has spent a decade refining their craft, but you're capable of doing it within 12 days. The potentialities are frankly endless. If this messaging resonates with you, and the universe calls upon you, please review our website for further information and reach out to us. We are certainly here to help. You will find that making an investment in your QMA lifestyle will dramatically change your life and the lives of your generations to follow. All this for the simple price of a golf membership. I look forward to watching your progress onto levels beyond comprehension and perhaps even beyond your own beliefs. With the best of kindest intentions, this is Master JD.
Now we're live with JD. Welcome, JD.
Thank you, Vanessa. It's always exciting to be here with you, especially today.
Oh, I love that. I'm so excited to hear about our topics today.
Great.
Because today we want to dive deeper into the benefits that QMA and raising your consciousness brings. We want to know what we put all that effort in for, no?
Sure.
So please, can you remind us again of all the benefits of QMA? Maybe you can insert some practical examples for us to relate to.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure because I just love talking and discussing anything related to quantum mind acceleration.
I bet you do.
I better. As a master of consciousness, Vanessa, I'm here to help others, as you know. By combining QMA with consciousness awareness and opening your superpowers within, one can become who they truly are. We all have these powers and skills within that I've spoken to many times about in the past. They just need to be activated. We all have these abilities. And as you said in our last podcast, there's no special skills that you need to bring forward. You already have them divinely possessed innately within your 12-stranded DNA codes. We just have to open them up. So, sometimes it's nice to say in a word or in a sentence, what is QMA all about? Going to the end result, it may be all about just manifesting whatever it is that you want. Yes, you can obtain genius intelligence. You're definitely going to upgrade your mind after a QMA 12-day process. We want you, of course, and this is a byproduct, to be happier. We want you to be healthier because, as we said in our previous podcast, you can't necessarily be happy unless you're healthy. And of course, we truly believe in the world of consciousness that we're here to explore, to experience, to gain new insight and powers within our soul. And we can live a life of abundance. So QMA is about enhancing your wealth and your abundance. Make sense, Vanessa? As a high overhead?
Perfect sense. Intelligence, happiness, wealth, health. There's nothing to argue with at all.
Where do I sign up, right?
Exactly. Where do I sign up, or how do I do it? More importantly, no?
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about the how in our pilot podcast. Let's talk about the benefits. And the listener may wish to go back to our previous podcast for the details of the how. We'll highlight them, of course. So quantum mind acceleration, Vanessa, it combines quantum mechanics and consciousness to an extent. Being able to manipulate time is a large feature to QMA. Bringing a future event into the present, right here and now, by collapsing time is a big feature of QMA. So we take the participant through this process over 12 days. The first 6 days are spent priming you, getting your mind upgraded, getting it ready to receive a quantum leap, a quantum jump in its intellect and its perception, and the neural pathways being fully opened. And during that period of time, we stimulate things that are very important to this process. So, as we said before, the pineal gland needs to be opened in order to obtain full consciousness or higher levels of consciousness. So we stimulate the pineal gland during this period of time. We play with your 7 chakras, get more energy in your body and in your mind so there's a better flow state within your body and mind so you can receive energy. You're ready to upgrade and receive your mind upgrade. We also trigger something initially called the Merkaba or Merkaba seal, this beautiful white light energy around your body, which is a comfort zone, a seal of protection. But in the levels of consciousness, when you're attempting to rise through the levels of consciousness, it's of great benefit to use your Merkaba seal, which will allow you to actually astral project or go through the veils of the higher levels of consciousness or dimensions above us. the other thing we do is we start to stimulate our 12-stranded DNA. And Vanessa, we joked before that, we as kids, when we grew up, we were all told by scientists that, hey, your first 2 or 3 DNA strands are active, the rest is just junk DNA. Well, as I've said before, nothing could be farther from the truth. This is where your eternal life codes exist. This is where your superhuman powers exist. And we want to stimulate them during this first 6 days. Thereafter, when we enter into the last 6 stages, that's when we use our master QMA videos, which are full of many, many goodies. So we've got linguistic programming in there to change your behavior, to work on your subconscious mind, to bring it out to its fullest. We use what I call the genius wave frequency. So we have frequencies which are going to upgrade your intellect. All right, get the neurons programmed in your mind to really be firing. Get that mind firing on all cylinders, so to speak. We have underlying frequencies for calmness, or to also activate your inner energy. And what they really do when they activate your subconscious mind is to allow you to spot quantum levels and quantum time, so that you can suppress or bring future timelines into the current moment. And that's how you can really exceed and excel and get dramatic performance and vision yourself with end results of manifesting your goals or intentions in the future, but bringing them back into the here and now. Does that make sense as an overview, Vanessa?
As an overview, it does make sense, but it sparks about 1 million questions right away.
Well, we can't get to all of them. Remember, let's focus on benefits today, right?
Yes.
Anything come to mind that you'd like to express, or do we go right into benefits now?
I'd say so, right into it.
Okay. So let's talk about where we can end up. At the end of the day, life is all about being happy.
Yes.
And I truly know you've got to have great health, and why not have great longevity? Interestingly, Vanessa, a recent study, I'm told, the number one fear that, say, North Americans have is death.
I guess that goes for most people, no?
Do you know what the second fear might be? Take a guess. Longevity. They're fearful beyond comprehension that they're not going to live a very long life. Or those that get into their last 10 or 7 years of life, trust me, you don't want a tube sticking out of your throat in a hospital bed. You want those to be fruitful, glowing, healthy, energetic
Absolutely.
years, right?
Yes.
You're a young person. You've got, great health. You're an athlete. You're an equestrian. So you have no body fat on you to speak of, because you're in great physical shape and mental shape as an athlete as well. But man, you want to carry that through to the last 7 years of your life.
I would love to.
You'd love to. So QMA, raising your consciousness, you can extend your longevity and have very positive periods of longevity in your life. And we do teach that, and we have protocols for longevity once you become a QMA private club member, which we'll speak about later. So some of the end results, longevity is definitely an objective. Raising your consciousness. Once you upgrade your mind and go through the QMA process, you're, in my humble view, able to raise your levels of consciousness much more dramatically than someone who has not gone through the process. It took me roughly 15 years to get to full consciousness, but it only took, weeks to rise from the 6th level of consciousness, or 6 dimensions, to the 12th dimension. I figured that would take 5 to 10 years. So you will definitely be able to raise your levels of consciousness at an exponentially faster rate, in my humble view, by going through our QMA process.
And by raising your consciousness via the process of QMA, this is how you reach longevity, and that will take away your fear of death.
Absolutely. It's all about our perception. It's about controlling our own mind, as the Stoics would say.
Fair enough.
So I always had a death goal. Now, that may sound crazy, but I said, look, I'm going to die when I'm 87. That's my goal.
That is a bit crazy. Why would you want that?
It seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Now, Vanessa, I feel I can live as long as I want. I'm just currently reestablishing what that goal might be. Will it be 100 years of age? Will it be 120? I sort of came to this. My granddaughter's 2, and I'm just in love with this little human. She's just incredible, right? Makes my heart drop every time I see her. So, I'd start doing the math when she's, when I'm 87, and should I pass at that time, she'll be about 22 or so. I thought, man, maybe that's too early. Maybe I want to spend a lot more time with her.
That's 22 is young.
Here's the thing, as a master of consciousness and someone who's upgraded their mind, I know I can set my own date of death. And I have no fear of death. I could die tomorrow and I'd be quite happy, because I know through going through and studying so intensely consciousness and understanding it, that death is just a transition. It's just this bodysuit that dies. It wears out. The Dalai Lama says, hey, when you die, it's just like a shirt that you need to send to the laundry. It's dirty, or you got to throw it out. Eventually you have to throw out those dirty shirts. But your soul is eternal. It lives on. We'll have potentially millions of lifetimes should we choose. So once you come to the concept and you do this in raising your consciousness, that your soul is eternal. Many believe your soul is here living within a physical body, or vice versa. But once you die, your soul just transitions. It goes home. It goes up to the heavens. It goes up to its original soul family. It goes back to its higher self. It can travel to other dimensions, or it can choose to reincarnate back here in this third dimension on this little rock we call Earth. Now, you got to be careful about that, and there's ways to plan your transition. That's a little bit more at the master level, but you can control. Should you wish to reincarnate? Should you wish to go to other dimensions? Should you wish to become a guardian angel? I'll definitely become guardian angels for my children, my loved ones, and my granddaughter, and I'll be able to guide them from the heavens, but I'll teach them how to reach me, before I go. And I'll also teach them not to worry about when I die, because I will live on. I'll be with them. I'll be eternal, and they will join me one day as well. We got a little off track about benefits.
No, that's still a benefit. I think a lot of people would love to know that there's a possibility to keep in touch after you die.
Absolutely.
Both sides, for the ones that keep living and for the ones who are dead.
Absolutely.
But I think that's a massive benefit.
In our levels of consciousness, when we're training folks, we show you how to reach your guardian angels. So it's said that each soul comes in here with a contract. Mm-hmm. You signed on, oh yeah, you'll do these podcasts with this crazy guy, Master JD, at one point in your life, and that'll be part of your journey. You'll also know when your time of death will be, and what the trauma or tragedy, or just a nice way to fall asleep in your bed and transition on will be. So
what do you mean Didn't you just say you choose it?
Well, you can master your mind, and death will be part of mastering that process. You can control it without question. You can control every facet in your life without question. That takes some training, and that's part of raising your consciousness to the higher levels. So Vanessa, this concept of just once and for all, the prophets before us, they all taught that we're eternal. Have no fear. We've got to get fear out of this life. And if you're waged with fear all the time, you're not going to have much fun. Unfortunately, that's what 90% or more of the population are out there. They live almost daily in fear of something. We've got to get back into the present moment We have to stop worrying about the past. Can't control it. That's done. Can't change it. Don't put any energy or focus on the negative things in your past. Vanessa, when you win the championship of show jumping in Germany with your beautiful Hanoverian horse, hey, that's a memory you want to hold on to. But when you fell and, broke your wrist and made a fool of yourself in a competition, don't let it go. Don't fear that. Don't think that's ever going to happen again.
I wish it was that easy.
So let go of the past. Don't get your focus there. Get it all in the present moment. That's how you avoid depression. That's how you have a better life. That's how you find happiness, because happiness is just a thought away. About living in the present moment. And that also means you're not worried about the future. You can't control it. You can influence it. You can influence it by using QMA to be, the best that you can be and bring your goals forward into our QMA process. And now you can end result them and manifest them and definitely influence your future. So you look towards those positive events in the future. And so someone who's depressed, they need goals. They've got to have a goal sheet. I work with people that have been chronically depressed in the past. And, one person comes to mind, they were chronically depressed for 3 years and just a mess. They were from Europe. And I changed their life, I believe, within 30 days or less. Got them into the present, got them setting goals, got them letting go of their past, getting them off what I call the hamster wheel, getting them to stop worrying about the things that happened to them in the past and stop worrying about the anxiety that could happen in the future, because our worries and fears, 99.9% of them never come true.
Yep, exactly.
So if you have all your attention on your goals and you're giving thanks and gratitude for achieving your goals as if they're already in your possession in the here and now, that's a big leap forward. Now, when you get up every day and you go to sleep at night, you're thinking, reviewing your goals, and you use our sleep meditation. So you're finally sleeping, 7-8 hours a night and getting productive sleep. That's huge to, regenerating your body and your mind and being able to act productively as a little human down here in this third dimension on Earth.
Yes, I think we all know what it feels like to have had a good night's sleep before work and had a bad night's sleep before work.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of that, Vanessa, when you wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning and you've had a dream and you go, wow, that felt so real. I can't believe it,
Yeah.
And you'll tell friends through the day about this dream.
And you can't even remember if it was real or not. And then you're like, no, I was in my bed. That didn't happen.
So in the world of consciousness, we believe it's highly likely that was really your soul leaves your body at night when you're sleeping. It's too damn boring down here in the third dimension. It takes off. It goes to other dimensions, other paradigms, and it plays. It lives out its sole purpose as it cares to. This is where it gets to have fun. And so that dream that felt like reality, that was your soul experiencing a reality in another paradigm, another dimension. And they just brought it back into the here and now, and you wake up and you're bang in mid-stroke of your soul experiencing that reality in another dimension. So it's not that you're a wacko thinking that these dreams are harmful or whatever they may be. It's really proof or some evidence of your soul within you and its ability to astral project, its ability to leave your body and to go to other dimensions, and that there are other dimensions out there around us.
So we're already doing that. We're just not so aware of it. So in QMA, we learn to awarely astral project, if I understand it correctly, and then get something out of it, learn something, get more knowledge.
We can. I would refine that to say in raising your levels of consciousness primarily.
All right.
We learn that. QMA is the launch pad, so to speak, to upgrade your mind, to get to a genius level of intellect, and to be able to perform at a quantum level, and to collapse time, to be able to identify time and to bring the future into the here and now. Interesting, this just came to mind. Einstein was an amazing individual, no question about it, right? I say he and Tesla were arguably masters of quantum mind acceleration. They just didn't know the wording or the verbiage of what necessarily they were doing. So if anyone's been living under a rock the last 50 years, and it's possible, because CNN isn't necessarily going to tell you about quantum mechanics.
No.
So you've either found this on your own, or you're starting to explore it, or you know something about it. But, the great Einstein taught us many things. Everything is energy. Without that understanding, quantum mind acceleration may not make a lot of sense. Raising your consciousness may not make a lot of sense. But a lot of Einstein's research and findings have been, I'll use the word, hidden from us. The public doesn't necessarily know of all of his findings.
No.
For instance, during World War II, apparently the Allies came to Einstein because they felt they were losing the war against Germany. And a big issue were the U-boats coming through the shipping channels, and then they were putting mines at the bottom of the ocean which would come up and attract to the hulls of the Allied ships and blow them up. They figured they were going to lose the war in large part because of this issue. So they came to Einstein and said, "Can you do anything about this?" He said, "Sure." So, "Well, what do you mean, sure?" "Well, I can move them 500 yards. What would you like me to move? The mines or the U-boats, or both?" And the generals were astounded, the diplomats were astounded, but he actually knew how to manipulate time. He could understand time travel. He could get an object to travel in time and displace it. And a large part of that is an understanding of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and that time is not linear, that our ancient ancestors, when we first came here, believe it or not, time travel was common. All of these powers and knowledge we innately have. We've just forgotten it as we reincarnate here in this third dimension. And our educational systems are not designed to teach us to remember many of these powers or innate abilities within. So that's a little story about Einstein. We're way off track on benefits. JD's rambling.
Not necessarily. Because
You're okay?
Yeah, because of course it's a little bit of a story. However, you did mention he was able to collapse time and move things that he was not, I want to say naturally able to reach as a human. In my understanding, he can't swim down the ocean and move the mines, no?
Right.
So that's already two things that are pretty astounding about QMA.
Yes. Now, I'm not suggesting that you'll come out of QMA and you'll be a time traveler. No. With years of practice or months of practice, that's possible once you've raised your consciousness and become what we call superhuman. These benefits are all aware to you. It's where you truly wish to go, where you want to take your mind. And it's not me to tell you what's right or wrong for you. This is your journey. And you can decide where you want to go and what divine and innate powers and superpowers you care to use or not to use. But we've got to get off this idea that, we're limited. We're not limited. Frankly, that was a way to control the masses, to keep them suppressed. We have these incredible powers within, and QMA in part opens them. Raising your consciousness in a large part can open them, and then the techniques of becoming superhuman that we can talk about in a short while can take you there, and it's amazing what you can accomplish. And our ancestors have all done this. We're just in a position now to remember and to awaken.
If it's just remembering, that sounds pretty intriguing to me, and it makes it sound a lot more possible than when you first hear about it.
Possible, yes. Potential and possible. So look, let me get on to some benefits. So we've talked about longevity, raising your consciousness, professional level skills in a short period of time. So my son's an athlete. I want him to do QMA. I believe that professional athletes can use QMA by way of example. And let's say you're playing in the National Hockey League, you're a hockey player, or you're playing in the NBA, but you want to be an all-star. I truly believe that using QMA can take you there, will give you the skills to then know what you've got to do to accomplish to get on the all-star teams. I believe that a junior hockey player with great talents, we can quickly access the skills to become a professional hockey player or a basketball player or equestrian, whatever. QMA allows you to generate those skills. Your mind is thinking at a quantum level now, and it just comes to you. The clarity comes to you on what you need to be doing to achieve that level of professionalism. So that's a big potential benefit. Part of that is upgrading your intelligence, going to the genius level of intelligence, but this extreme performance ability and the ability to create. Einstein, Tesla were able to create. That means you're able to manipulate energy, experience, and create businesses, create magic, create professional level skills, create things that we've never thought of before. And this is what QMA can do in part for the individual, should they care to go there. Now, someone might take QMA because they want to become a greater spiritual leader. So be it. I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. It's up to the individual to bring their intentions, bring their goals, their desires, their wishes into the process. We'll help you achieve them and identify them. And likely, you'll be able to achieve them at a dramatically faster pace once you've gone through quantum mind acceleration. So we talk about accelerating 12 years of progress, intellect, and skills in 12 days. And yes, that sounds crazy. It sounds too good to be true. Sorry, it's working. And it's about this being able to spot quantum movements in time and bringing it back into the here and now and executing them today. And everything that's taken years is then compressing itself into the now once you upgrade your mind and understand, and your mind is awoken to the possibilities of quantum leaps and movements. And it's a passive process. In our master videos, we're subliminally teaching you with neurolinguistic programming to identify those time shifts, to start believing that your mind is upgraded. And through repetition, and with the appropriate frequencies and guidance, bang, it's just like magic. And one day you'll experience the lift when you're in the QMA process. And it might be the first day in, it might be the 5th day in, it might be the 7th day in. And you go, oh my God, I have clarity. I have more peace of mind. I know what I want to achieve now. I can see it. And I have no fear because I can just go and do it. And your mind is now working out of more of a genius intellect. You just go and execute, and you do it without so much stress and anxiety. That I can't necessarily explain, but that was certainly my experience, and others state that as an experience as well.
So it is quantum mind acceleration, right? So the first idea we're getting is that it's about your mental state, your intelligence, your ideas, maybe even about happiness and your feelings. But you said earlier you can also use it to perform better physically, as in being a great athlete, or maybe even heal yourself?
Absolutely. So with the athlete, it's about, think of the placebo effect in medicine, all right? If the mind believes it's healthy, the body doesn't know any difference. It heals, all right? If the mind starts visualizing the body healed at a future point in time, the body just transitions there. It doesn't know any better. You've got a universe happening inside your body. And to this universe, when you're putting positive affirmations or repetitions, and you're saying, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. I love my liver, I love my liver. My liver is so healthy, my liver is so healthy. The liver, God bless it, doesn't know any better. This is God speaking to it. And it just gets healthy. The body is a regenerative product. It can, if left in its own natural state, will just naturally regenerate itself. So when we work with people on their health, and when we upgrade your consciousness, or if I'm trying to assist somebody to heal, we can train you or anyone, because we all have these abilities, to heal yourself. Get to a master level of consciousness, and you have the ability, should you so choose, to heal others. Bring energy into them from many places, which we can discuss, and regenerate their bodies.
That sounds amazing.
You can heal yourself with mind. Others have the ability to heal others. And typically it's thought in the world of consciousness, I believe, when you've reached the sixth dimension and beyond, perhaps the fifth, you have the ability to heal others and develop that talent, should you so desire. Yeshua, Jesus, all told us, we all have these powers. We are all amazed that Yeshua, Jesus, could heal others, but he said, you have the ability too. The power is within you. You just need to activate it. And he could teach that. Others can teach it. And your eternal life codes can be opened. And that can be part of your life, should you choose to go down that path.
But is that energy inside us? Do we have to draw it from another dimension? Is that what we're raising our consciousness for?
Well, that's a really big question. We could do a whole show on that. Very quickly, I'll tell you what I do.
Right.
So if I'm trying to help somebody heal, we work with functional medicine. So let's get your diet right. Let's get your lifestyle right. We use energy medicine, energy frequencies to heal, because there's frequencies which can heal any organ, any part of your body. Get the flow happening. Open up your 7 chakras so the energy's flowing. Clear your mind and start programming your mind. And what a healer does is, one way or the other, brings energy into that person's body or mind. And there's several ways to do it. My technique is using the levels of consciousness. I'm able to travel to the 12th dimension. So what I do is I will develop and open my Merkaba or Merkaba seal. I'll engulf the other person's soul in my Merkaba seal or Merkaba seal, and I will take that soul to the higher dimensions. I will visit my guardian angels and ask for help. I have 3 prime guardian angels specifically devoted towards helping me heal others. One is Yeshua, another is Dolores Cannon, another one is a great pharaoh. So I ask for their help in healing this person. What does this soul need, and to transfer energy into them. And I get my guardian angels and firing energy into that soul, into that person. I then will travel up to my galactic self, which was a Palladian. This is where it can get crazy. And ask for guidance, ask for assistance and energy and healing. I'll go to a Palladian council and do the same thing. And then I will go to other venues perhaps, and then I will take their soul up to the 12th dimension, where we touch the hand of God, source energy, and ask for guidance and healing and energy. And then bring the soul back down, and again, ask the universe to send energy that this soul and this person needs at this time to heal. Now, it's not necessarily going to happen in an instant. Everyone's different. This could take several months of activity with somebody, or it could happen once. Everyone's different, depends on the situation. And then, we'll also work with them to show them how they can heal themselves with mind, which ultimately is about visualizing yourself healthy. So there's something called the placebo effect, where you believe you're healing and the body heals. That is science. That proves that this can be done, healing with your mind. There's no debate. There's also something called nocebo. Doctor walks into the room and says, you got cancer at stage 4 and you're going to die in, well, I'll give you 42 days. Looks at the watch. Then you leave that waiting room or the hospital and you believe it. Well, you're going to drop dead in 42 days because your mind believes it. So you have to get, off the negativity. You have to start believing that all disease is preventable and reversible. And I'm here to tell you that it is. And our ancestors knew this, our ancient ancestors knew this. And we could look into the future. If everything is energy, every cell in your body vibrates at a certain frequency. So there is frequency medicine. There's right frequencies, binaural beats, frequencies that can change the structure of that cell, vibrate at a frequency to enhance that cell or to destroy it, should it be a cancer cell or zombie cell or a negative cell, or to, increase the flow in your body, to work on your organs, your ligaments, your muscles. There's a frequency for every health condition, every disease. So you can use them for prevention or reversal of disease. And if you look into the future, it's going to med beds. Remember Star Trek when Spock and Kirk rescued somebody from a distant planet? McCoy, the doctor, put them on this bed, and there was some fancy beeping, and they put little devices over top of the individual to get the diagnosis. But that med bed they were laying on, it spoke to the future, and you could envision a med bed in the future that might have all the traits of nature that we need to heal ourselves. So oxygen, red light therapy, which is, the sun's energy to give us, synthesize vitamin D, to give us energy to live. If you don't get sunshine, you are not going to be a healthy person. Despite what our dermatologists tell us, we don't get cancer from sunshine. That's absolutely ridiculous. We get it from being in the sun too long, eating seed oils, perhaps having alcohol, and having, horrific diets, and slapping, horrifically bad sunscreens on our body, which have chemicals that are toxic. The combination of seed oils and toxic sunscreens, that will give you skin cancer, not the sunshine. Now, you'll burn. If you're an idiot, you stay in the sun too long, yes, you'll burn. So you got to be smart. You go in the shade after an hour. But the body needs, 20 minutes, half an hour at least every day of sunshine. You synthesize sunshine best through your pupils to create vitamin D. So we just, and the stats are all there. They're just hidden from us. The highest incidence of folks with cancer, they're all vitamin D deficient. And they have something called leaky gut syndrome from eating horrific food over their life, and their body's toxic. So you can kill cancer cells using frequencies.
But if you can kill cancer cells, you must be quite well versed in picking the right frequency for people, no? Because is it a chance that you can damage something?
There is a technique and a strategy to practicing energy medicine, and the more you practice it, the better you get good at it, and you understand what frequencies work, what doesn't work. And again, everyone's unique. Sometimes you got to find the right balance. But there's fairly common specific frequencies for various kinds of cancer, as an example, that can be used to heal cancer. And all health conditions for that matter. I don't know of one health condition that isn't available to the world of energy medicine to reverse, prevent, or heal that condition. So this is a long way of saying, hey, med beds are the future, where There'll be energy frequencies appropriate to the disease or the condition. There'll be oxygen. There'll be red light therapies. There'll be PEMF. There'll be, the Earth's energy, the Schumann resonance, as it's changing, that can be used in that bed, and many other features that we're not even necessarily aware of. There'll be ability to use quantum mechanics and healing in a med bed in the future, and to most likely play what we're doing now in our QMA, similar neuro-linguistic programming, to program your mind to heal. Right there, all within a med bed. So healing will be amazing in the next few years. This is months to years away. This is coming very quickly at us.
That sounds very good. And I was gonna ask you later if it's worth all the effort you have to put in the QMA, but I feel like this question kind of becomes pointless by now, because you mentioned you can pick your own time of death and you can be healthy and happy until the very last day of your life, and you'll have the power to heal yourself and even others. So you're still welcome to answer the question, but I feel like it's pretty clear that this is convincing.
Good. I'm glad I'm starting to finally convince you, Vanessa. Part of this exercise was to have a host that was highly intelligent, extremely well educated, great personality, such as yourself, but someone who frankly hasn't gone through QMA, and someone who's working on raising their consciousness. So these questions are great because they're from someone being very skeptical, and I like that.
I wasn't familiar with the concept before, and of course not with its benefits and how you could get there in the first place. And I guess a lot of people can relate with me questioning it in the first place.
Absolutely.
So.
And as a highly educated individual, which you are and I am, and many of the listeners are, we've been programmed and trained to think logically.
Yes.
So if it's not in black and white and it's not logical, dismiss it.
Yeah.
And QMA and raising your consciousness has nothing to do with logic. There's very little logic to it.
You actually have to let go of a couple of things that you know true to get on the journey, I think.
Yes, at least the logic that we've been programmed to date in our community, in our educational system, in our peer groups to express. It's almost like you have to throw a lot of that out. Now, I came from the accounting finance world, so trust me, I grew up in a period of time of professional logic. And
Still lie.
Numbers don't lie. So you have to find our divine, our ancient logic, and our ancient truths, which frankly have been hidden from us. And they're all within. The prophets have all told us they're within. We already have them. A lot of their messages have been, shall we say, manipulated over time to provide a narrative. We don't need to go there today. I'm going to jump back into a few more benefits of QMA.
You have even more, enlighten us.
Okay. So we talked about the ability to now create. I started many businesses in my past life, as I call it, as a business person. I started out, with a major world-class accounting firm as a senior accountant. Then went on to create some public companies. As an officer director of public companies listed. That's a nightmare in itself, managing public companies. I went on to create many businesses, ended up with a real estate development company. We built condominiums and retail on the ground floor. Now, if you can get through $100 million condominium and retail development, oh my God, the nightmares, the fear, the stress, the anxiety, if you can get through that, you can get through pretty much anything in business. But I did many other creative things. We owned, with a couple of fellows, 100 retail stores across our country. A doctor and I, we created and brought some of the first walk-in medical clinics to Canada. We ended up with 25 clinics, 100 MDs, which we managed, 150 support staff. So I've got a lot of experience in the world and business of medicine. I understand the business of medicine, and that is very beneficial to what I'm doing today to help people with their health, their longevity, and to heal. So I know the pitfalls, I know what you're being told, what the programming is, and goodness, in many countries, I believe in Canada and the United States, if a healthcare professional says they can cure you, they lose their license. I believe that's still the case today, yes. Now, doesn't that sound absurd? Isn't that fear-based? Because shouldn't our health professionals be there to cure you?
Yes, and if they can, they should be allowed to tell you.
Now, our natural doctors, they don't use the word cure because they're not allowed to, and they're still under licensing government bodies, but they at least approach a disease and say, yes, we can manage this. Now, manage is a nice word for reversing or healing, and God forbid we use the word cure.
Yeah.
So I'm here to tell you that all disease can be reversed or certainly prevented. And I wish I could say it was that difficult. Frankly, it's not. It's just having the knowledge and gathering the expertise around you when required to work on an individual to get them healthy. And we can all heal.
And if that individual is not in any state to work actively anymore, then you can help them heal through you?
Someone who has a life sentence of 30 days to live and they're a cancer victim, very hard to deal with that for obvious reasons. Primarily, I hate to say this, the treatment has killed them. It's destroyed their immune system. So it's all about, can you reactivate their immune system to a large extent? So we have protocols on gut health. According to Hippocrates, all disease starts in the gut.
Okay.
Once you understand that, everything goes back to the gut. Someone has arthritis, gut health, got to go there. Someone has psoriasis, gut health, have to go there, got to clean up the gut. Cancer is definitely related to gut health. 99.99% of all cancer victims that I'm aware of have leaky gut syndrome. 70% of your immune system is found in your gut.
Yeah.
Immune system will take care of cancer cells and kill cancer cells or shrink tumors if your immune system is healthy. But you've got to have a healthy gut first. So we have a protocol to get a healthy gut, clean up the leaky gut syndrome, all right? Then boost your immune system. Then open up or activate your lymphatic system, your liver, your kidneys. Now your waste disposal system is working, and the toxins that are inside you as a person who's unhealthy, especially cancer victims, now they have a way to escape, because previously the lymph wasn't necessarily working, the kidneys weren't working, the liver wasn't functioning well, and everything's just backed up.
Yeah.
Those toxins can't escape, and you get cancer cells. You've got to also, clear out the pancreas. All right, get the pancreas functioning as well, a key component towards disease. And then you detox. So what do we all face with today in today's world? We've got to detox heavy metals, plastics, parasites are huge. Apparently, 52% of all tumors diagnosed as cancerous tumors are actually parasitic sacs.
Really?
Where they're breeding and planting eggs and growing new parasites, and they're misdiagnosed as tumors. So we want to be able to detox, and it's very easy to detox parasites, the vast majority of them. You can do it with supplementation, and you can do all of this with frequencies. There's a frequency to heal and clean and open the liver, the pancreas, the lymphatic system, the kidneys, There's frequencies which will detox and clear the lymph, the intestinal tract, the colon, and so forth, so that now you have a functioning body that's detoxing and your waste system is properly working and the toxins can escape from your body versus being totally revolving in your body and causing havoc and disease. So frequency, functional medicine are key components to helping someone heal. And in addition, work on their mind, the placebo effect, get them to heal themselves, and then use a healer's powers if that person's receptive to energy being transferred into them. And use other techniques as well to get that person healthy again. And everyone's unique, everyone needs a different plan. That's what we do in our QMA private club, is we believe that once you've gone through QMA, successfully graduated after the 12 days, upgraded your mind, then you join our QMA private club, and that's where we start raising your consciousness, going at a pace that's appropriate for you, and then opening up your superhuman powers. And that might take someone 6 months, it might take someone a year, it might take someone 3 years, but certainly we would like to see that accomplished within 3 years, where that individual has the potential to become a superhuman with these incredible powers that are already within, and we're just opening them up. So in our QMA private club, we say no member need suffer disease. It's because we'll use our health protocols, we'll use your health professional's diagnosis and recommendations, integrate them into our health protocols. We'll seek independent professional medical advice, should it be required for that individual. And there's many world-class resorts or spas or health clinics around the world that we will affiliate with, that someone could go and get treatment. And how will we do that? Well, we'll be funding up our QMA club, and we will over time develop a health fund. Should a member get into crises, they'll be able to access dollars to get treatment. But really, the vast majority we should be able to treat them ourselves using the protocols which are already available to us, using functional medicine, bringing in world-class health experts, which we're aware of, and using our energy frequencies to heal. And I'm here to help others, of course, to step in with healing should that be appropriate. So our QMA private club, we feel that it's all about longevity.
That makes sense.
you can live a much longer, happier, healthier life, and we will keep you healthy. That's our objective. And this is a collective social group amongst leaders. The idea is to bring in 120 leaders from around the world that will take our QMA process and then join the club. And this is a membership for life. So first and foremost, a social club that is designed to build trusting, fantastic relationships for the rest of your life, and for the club, for your membership to be passed down to your next generation. So let's think out 3, 4, 5 generations down the line. They will be QMA private club members, and they will have the ability to go through QMA. They will have the ability to have great longevity, great health, have abundance. We want our members focused on wealth and abundance, and to be able to go to the next level. And when leaders come to us, this might be somebody with a 50, 100 million, $1 billion net worth. Now we want you to go to the next level without the stress. As a businessman, I know how difficult it was to make the first $1 million as a young man.
Yeah.
At the age of 30, my goal was to make $1 million. Well, I was short. I only made $950,000. I got depressed for a day and a half. My wife at the time told me, "What are you talking about? And $1 million back then. I'm 66. That, arguably, I don't know, what is that, $5 million today, whatever it is, $7 million with inflation. So it was a number, and I got close. But, hyper stress, I had no idea about conscious awareness, no idea about QMA, but it's what I was operating with unconscious awareness.
All right.
So Bob Proctor had a huge influence on my life. As a young man at the age of 25, I took Bob's course, and it was about goal setting. So he trained me how to set goals, how to eat, sleep, drink, live them every day, and to visualize them as if they'd already happened. So my first goal was to get a house. I bought my first house at the age of 26. And, I visualized myself moving into that house in December, turning the key of the front door. I could see the white picket fence on the front yard. I could see the black door and the gold knob. Well, sure enough, December, moved into a house, black door, gold knob, white picket fence at the age of 26. And it was all like, hey, this goal setting works, right? Well, it was unconscious awareness. Consciousness is about, as I said at the top, manifesting what you want.
Yeah.
Helping others, being compassionate, growing your passions, growing your life, achieving what you may, achieving not only happiness, but I believe bliss when you raise your consciousness, when you're able to travel or transport into the fifth, sixth dimension and beyond. It's bliss. It's pure energy. There's no stress.
I'm pretty sure that's what we all want, especially the leaders amongst us who know how stressful it is to actually be a leader, be a good leader in this dramatically fast-moving world.
Absolutely. One thing I have noticed is when you run into CEOs of large corporations, large entities, they're shockingly very calm. But often it can be like the duck on top of the water, looks very calm, but the feet are going really fast underneath. But one thing that I have found that most CEOs practice, it's mindfulness.
Yeah.
They're spending at least an hour a day on mindfulness, setting their goals, meditating, many of the things that are involved with consciousness or conscious awareness. Yep. They're getting calm. They're feeling good about their environment and their goals. And now they know they just have to execute. So their stress levels just aren't as heightened as that general manager of the same firm learning, how to experience life. The CEO that's 60 years of age, they've had a lot of experiences.
Yes. One
thing you gain in raising your consciousness, you understand that everything truly does work out. CEOs understand that. Everything does truly work out. And yes, they'll all have their moments, but by doing QMA and raising their consciousness, as many of them are still unconsciously aware, but raising their consciousness to the next levels, not only can they and everyone around them experience happiness and bliss, you can just execute without the stress. You don't have as much fear because you understand the universe more so now. You understand yourself. You understand that you can execute whatever you want and manifest whatever you want. So let's just go do it, and let's not have the fear. If you had QMA, your mind is operating at a much higher quantum level now of intellect and performance, and you get this vast amount of clarity. So the stress just dissipates. It's an amazing, amazing feature of QMA and raising your consciousness.
That's a heavy burden to be lifted off leaders.
Anyone,
100%.
Anyone, because people I've helped over in the past, as I've said before, I've suffered with depression, or, like not 30 days, 120 days of depression, but moments of depression, or, days of anxiety. You have too, I'm sure, Vanessa.
Yes, and I don't want to argue that it definitely goes with everyone. However, I wanted to go back to your private club because you said that the QMA process, the 12 days, are what's priming you, what's what's the preparation work to get into the club, right? And then you join the club as a member, and the club supports you in lots of things, I assume.
Yes, and that's the key word, is support. Someone who's finally got your back for life, as a group of members and as an entity. So not only would I be involved, we envision a managing director and support staff and others to assist and complement. We envision getting together online on a regular basis every 2 or 3 weeks. I learned that trick from the Rosicrucians, which out of the States, there's an order called the Rosicrucians, which I believe are not in the business of trying to control others.
Okay.
Right? They're one of the few spiritual groups that is not, that I understand, not meant to control others. So they meet online, and the Grand Master, or whatever she may be called, answers questions, and we communicate and do, FaceTime, Zoom calls, so that there's interaction, a feeling that there's regularity, and then those can be replayed. And so it's a time for members to send in their questions, if they're working on raising their consciousness at the time, and for others to help one another. But we also envision gathering at least twice a year, ideally once in the Bahamas in Nassau at the beautiful Ocean Club, which is a 4-season resort, and fantastic beaches. It's an energetic zone, a very spiritual, energetic zone on the property and surrounding areas that the members can experience and enjoy their abundance. We'd also do the same at the world-class resort in the summertime as well. So we'll develop relationships through the group, and we're there to help others, but we're not there to control others or to be political.
Okay.
In any way. We don't want to control the masses. We don't need political control. We're just there for good. My intent in forming the club was to bring together 120 great leaders already, in the fields of athletics or entertainment, or they're CEOs, they're business owners, they're multi-net worth individuals now. They've achieved amazing things, or they might be spiritual leaders or conscious leaders, or someone that just wants to set the world on fire at a quantum level, right? And gets it. And all we ask is that once you upgrade your mind, once you upgrade your skills and increase your wealth and abundance, is just use a small portion of that, whatever's appropriate to you, for good, to help others. And if we can do that, we'll spread good at a great dynamic level. That's exciting. I can't do it all, but I figure if we can gather 120 leaders, make them superhuman, the things that they will be able to achieve and their generations to follow be able to achieve will have a profound positive impact on humanity. So we're in this for the good.
So as a club member, you would get a lot of support for your own personal, individual goals, which can be abundance, health, wealth, happiness. But at the same time, you would not only be required, but also be enabled to do good to the world.
Yes. And as the group will control itself, form a board of directors and decide where they wish to go as a group. It won't be up to me to make the decision. So maybe they collectively want to, raise some funds and send them to a nonprofit, that whatever, or they may wish to form their own nonprofits, or they may just wish to give of their time or their money or their wealth or their skills. That will unfold, as collectively we come together and decide what this group would like to do to impact humanity. So there's the QMA Club definitely is focused on your longevity, your happiness, your health, and your abundance and wealth. And it's the club's desire to help every member who is unique achieve the highest levels in those regards. So, first of all, without question, you've got to complete the QMA process. Join the club, and we introduce you to our protocol on how to be happy as one of the first things. How to stay in the present moment, how to focus on your goals, how to set your new goals, and the appropriate affirmations that can be used to quantum leap and obtain goals beyond anyone's comprehension. So bring grandiose, large-scale goals and intentions to your life, and go ahead and fail. Failure's great because, as I've said before, if you want to make $100 million in the next quarter and you only make 80 million, that ain't so bad, is it? So you're far better off than where you started. So many of the things that we offer, for instance, on the members' health, we will design a health plan for that individual, integrating your health professional's diagnosis and recommendations, of course, but we'll focus on functional medicine, which treats the cause of disease for a change and offers treatments that are natural in nature. So we don't believe in surgery. There's no need for surgery unless you've been hit by a bus and your guts are on the table in the emergency room. The body can regenerate itself. You can heal yourself without surgery or chemotherapy or high-end extensive prescription drugs, frankly, which have an amazing plethora of side effects which come through it. It's not an understanding of real health. Yeah. There are many protocols using natural sources to heal. Lifestyle is huge. Energy medicine is amazing, as I've said, and I'm going to ask Anil to queue up shortly something to describe energy medicine and energy frequencies. But let's get through this in a moment. Regenerative medicine is also part of our protocols. Regenerate the body, get it back into its natural self, heal with mind, my healing abilities, and others. We can bring in other healers and other masters to assist in this process. And we also, after, typically starting with a protocol of gut health, which is where it all begins, upgrade your immune system, open up your other pathways to heal and dispose of toxins, and then focus in on a specific diagnosis. But during that process, we go to experts for an extensive blood analysis and DNA analysis. So Dr. Linus Pauling, two-time Nobel Prize winner, states all disease can be traced back to nutritional and mineral deficiencies. So we have a protocol to ensure you're getting, 95 to 98% of all your nutritional and mineral deficiencies covered. I wish I could say it was difficult. It's not. We've cracked that code on what you need to be doing to ensure you're getting proper nutrition and adequate minerals. So that's part of our process as well. Our QMA longevity protocol, which we have, then we're still developing it. New information comes to us all the time, so it's always being upgraded. But at the essence, it's about preventing and reversing all disease in this process. QMA longevity frequencies we have. Frankly, there's no. Go ahead. You're welcome to fly to Mexico, spend $15,000, $20,000, and get stem cells. But as a member, we have frequencies which will naturally generate stem cells within your body.
Wow.
Costs you nothing except playing the frequencies at night and letting them rip, so to speak, while you're sleeping. And you'll increase your stem cells and you'll enhance or grow your telomeres. So at the end of chromosomes are these little things called telomeres. And as we die, as we go through the aging process, they get smaller and eventually they become, at a zero level or 10% of their capacity, let's say. Well, we've got frequencies which will enhance those and increase your longevity amongst other frequencies. So there's once your mind is upgraded using QMA, we have this healer's frequency and neuro-linguistic programming, and I've used it for myself. It's just amazing. It could be as simple for some people, if you're relatively healthy and you've raised your consciousness to some extent and you've gone through QMA, you could just be listening to this video, which you can play while you're sleeping or awake, and it's going to neuro-linguistic program your mind to heal and gives you the base frequencies to heal. And then we can use other frequencies appropriate to your circumstances. And just doing that could very well extend your life, extend your longevity to be beyond comprehension. So we definitely will integrate that process. Teaching, mind healing, subliminal video strategies are all available to us as well. And we've got this really neat process, and they're videos. There's some great healthcare professionals around the world which show you how to look 10 years younger.
Really?
Yes. Now, you don't need it.
Not yet.
Not yet. But in the future, you may want to have this in your hip pocket. I'll give them to you and your mother, Vanessa. Okay. And I've started on them recently, and I look pretty good for a 66-year-old. Many don't.
Definitely.
Thank you. That's always nice to hear from a beautiful young lady. But once you understand that your face, and ladies, listen in, your face, it's all, fascia underneath your skin and muscles and the lymphatic system. So if you're massaging the right areas, and in these videos, we've got a doctor that shows you how to do this, then I won't say it's like getting an automatic facelift, and it will take some time, but instead of going through surgery, you can remove those wrinkles, remove those jowls, get the neck, smoothed out. And then there's another plastic surgeon who gives us this beautiful little technique to build up collagen. He calls it collagen banking. So it takes, 5 minutes once a week for 6 weeks. It's a simple tool, and bang, you're going to increase the collagen within your face by, according to the surgeon and peer-reviewed studies, by 400%. And it's going to last for 5 to 7 years. It's collagen banking. So now you don't need Botox. Maybe you wish to use PRP, which is a natural substance, to take away wrinkles or whatever. But these are a combination of processes and changing your lifestyle, having the right diet and an improved gut health, because everything comes from the gut. Your face is an expression of your gut health and your immune system. So if we get all of these firing, and then we get your mind programmed to believe that you look 10 years younger, you are on your way. Now, hey, if we fail, maybe you only look 5 years younger. But Vanessa, trust me, the folks in my age group that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, if you can look 5 years younger, get my checkbook out. How much is that going to cost? I'm all in, right?
Fair enough.
Now, we can take it to 10 years, even better. So,
yeah.
But you check in with me and say 6 months, see how I'm looking. And I can feel it already. I'm looking at my face in the mirror and say, oh my God, I'm getting younger. This is actually working, these massaging exercises. So I do it, 2 to 5 minutes every day. And some very specific, unique ways to do this. And again, once you have a healthy lifestyle, positive attitude, positive mindset, it all goes towards looking younger.
And there I was thinking that we already covered the benefits by deciding your own time of death and being happy and healthy for a really long time, and now you can even look younger.
Yes.
And keeps coming.
This just came to mind, and I hope the listener can take a joke, but we don't want to sound like quote-unquote snake oil salesman. Well, it turns out I did a little bit of research from where the snake oil salesman came from. So when the Chinese laborers came at the turn of the century to lay down railroad tracks across most of North America, specifically in the U.S. and out west, they they were gathering snakes at night, getting the oil from the snake and using it as a high compound omega product.
All right.
And then either injecting it, swallowing it, intaking it, whatever they were doing. I don't totally understand the process, but they were using, in essence, the snake oil for inflammation reduction, for healing their wounds, because God knows they'd get beat up working on the railroads. And the medical industry came along and said, oh, we don't want anything to do with that because that actually works. So we're defining you as a snake oil salesman. It got a bad rap. So there's many things in natural medicine and in healing and in our ancient past that has been downplayed. And I'm not saying everything works, but a combination of functional medicine, common sense, being practical, and designing a health program and plan for an individual that they can work at in a reasonable pace with their own goals for their health. That's something we will do within the QMA Club. And that we consider to be pretty cool. Especially if the majority of us are worried about death and longevity, and we can take those fears away.
Oh, yes.
Through training. I think that's a great benefit to being a club member. That in and of itself, perhaps, is a great benefit.
No, definitely is. And I was opening up our session with the question, or not really the question, a statement that we want to know what we put our effort in for here. And I think that's a lot of things covered right there. I think we've gotten to that.
But Vanessa, we've only scratched the surface.
That was the surface?
We've gotten totally off track. I was just going to be the salesman, list all the benefits today and not talk about the how. But we've had a wonderful conversation.
Yes, we did.
I think. And I'm not telling you everything I know because
we'd be here for another 18 hours.
We'd be here for another 18 hours at least. But we can accomplish a lot through our QMA process, through raising your consciousness, and ultimately becoming superhuman. Maybe we want to talk about being superhuman, which is part of joining our QMA club, should someone care to go there, and they may not. They may just want to experience the social club aspect and have, family relationships for life and generations to follow. And that is a wonderful goal, to be surrounded by 120 other leaders that can influence your life, and you can call upon one another as brothers and sisters for guidance and help or assistance. The finance guy from my past says, oh, maybe you got a great deal, you let the members know about your deal, or you're running a public company, you may wish to garner support from your members.
I'm pretty sure we're all aware of the benefits of networking and good support.
Smart people figure it out, right? But it's nice to work within a circle of trust.
Yes.
Because we're not letting, we will turn away members, unfortunately, who wish to join. We only will accept someone who's in it for good. Unfortunately, as you come to understand consciousness, there is evil out there. And I know how to spot it almost instantly, the energy, and we just won't deal with those individuals. We'll want people who are here to help others ultimately. Help themselves, yes, but we want people that are here for good. Good for themselves, good for their families, there to help others, there to grow over time, and to just give something back to humanity. And that's how we can really impact and have a positive impact amongst ourselves as members, but the world at large.
So the entry requirement is having good intentions.
Absolutely. Without good intentions, and I'll know it within, a 90-second phone call or discussion with somebody, I sense the energy instantly. So they'll get, they just won't be invited to participate in QMA. I don't need anyone out there using the powers of QMA for evil. that will never happen as long as I can manage that not to happen.
Yeah, sounds pretty devastating if that could be turned around.
So we mentioned, being superhuman. So once you've gone through our QMA process, your intellect is upgraded, your mind is upgraded, you're able to create and align energy in your favor and quantum jump, quantum leap, and bring the future into the now and accomplish things that we say would have normally taken you 12 years to do to accomplish it now. And that is part of understanding the timelines and assessing the quantum timelines like Einstein was able to do and bring it into the here and now. So once we've completed QMA, you've got this heightened, incredible intellect. Then we start raising your consciousness within the club. Or you can do it outside the club. You could raise your consciousness and not choose to participate in the QMA club. I understand that. We have a program for that. So we say once you get your consciousness raised to the 5th dimension and beyond, that is heaven, considered to be heaven, the 5th dimension. Now you're able to live a life of bliss. And in that zone, we talk, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, and again, I love this, you can astral project, get into that dimension, and experience, where you're free of all time. There's no space, and you're nobody. You're your original soul.
That's hard to imagine.
It is, but it's a lovely, blissful experience that anyone, I assure you, who raises their consciousness will experience. And then it's just building upon that and building upon that. And once you get there, yes, you have enlightenment. Yes, you have more peace. You have a much better understanding of yourself. You have a much better understanding of the universe, of God, as you define it. I'm not here to tell anybody who God is. We're not a religion. We're not here saying, God is this, and take it or leave it. No, God is your own perception. It will come to you as you raise your consciousness. We say that the consciousness world believes that God is, in essence, source energy, the creation of everything. And, quantum physicists today understand consciousness. They understand that, physics and consciousness go together, that it does go back to the original source energy, whatever that is. And it could very well be different from others. When I get to the 12th dimension, one line of thought in the consciousness world at the grandmaster level is that there were originally 6 spider sources of energy which created the universe, and each spider energy created a universe or a cosmos or an entity, whatever you care to call it. So when I'm in the 12th dimension, I actually imagine and picture touching as it's said touching the hand of God. Mm-hmm. It's finger to finger to one of the spider original source energies, and it's a feeling of love. Source energy is thought to be eternal love, and we're connected. Our soul is nothing more than a particle of source energy. And so it is said that God is within you. Source energy is within you. Some say you are God. And the consciousness world believes that, reality is seen through your own consciousness or collective consciousness. We all see this building that we're sitting in right now, Vanessa, and that's our collective consciousness that sees it. Yeah. I don't necessarily understand that or have to. I don't have to understand why when I walk into a room and flick the switch, the lights come on. I don't need to know how, the electricity came from Niagara Falls through the wires that Tesla created back in the day. And, I just need to know that the damn light turns on.
Yep.
So to a large extent, consciousness can be about this. I just need to know that there is energy, and I can flick the switch and turn it on and experience. And having faith is an amazing thing. Replace the word faith with your belief. If I believe that I have amazing powers or that I can heal, then you will, once your mind is upgraded and your consciousness is greatly upgraded. So it's an amazing understanding of the universe and how it works. And how do we get you there? Well, everyone goes at their own pace. We have videos that I have crafted that explain various processes to raise your consciousness. One is dealing with your guardian angels. The Bible says, ask and thou shalt receive. Well, it's ask your guardian angels and they will help you. And we show you how to connect with your guardian angels and your higher self. So if your soul is a spark of source energy, it is thought that there's actually about 2,200 different versions of your soul in 180 different dimensions all around you. And I explain this to people in much more detail when we're raising consciousness. So I'm giving you the high level.
Yeah.
So here you are, your soul version has chosen to reincarnate or ascend into this third dimension in Earth to experience and grow as a soul, at least this version. And there's a way to connect you through raising your consciousness to your higher self, your original soul, or others. And your other souls will be in other paradigms, in other dimensions operating. There are those that can travel to those dimensions. As I said, your soul can do that when it's sleeping, but there are those that are professionals at traveling to their other soulmates, so to speak, and bringing back that knowledge into this current dimension and using it in the here and now. And that's another level of consciousness that is available. It's not something I practice necessarily, but there certainly are those that will do it. The point is, the knowledge, the benefits, the skills are endless. They're infinite. They're limitless. It's wherever you care to go and take your newfound skills as you grow your levels of consciousness. So we have these videos that help walk you through and understand the basics. We have a sleep meditation that will make you sleep like a baby every night and also, get you focused in on your goals and wishes and get you manifesting at a subconscious level, much more powerful in order to manifest, and keeps you in the present moment and creates calm throughout the day as a result. And again, that's all part of raising your consciousness, defining calmness at all times and being in control of your emotions. The Stoics want to be in control of their emotions. So do the masters of consciousness. We're not supposed to have road rage because we understand that's just, a little bit of crazy reality over there. It's got nothing to do with me. Don't get caught up in it. It's maybe a mirror of yourself, expressing something in that other vision. Again, that's another road to go down. So we also have teachings. Now, remember, I said it's taken me at least 15 years to get here, dealing with a master of consciousness and a grandmaster of QMA, such as myself. And I think I'm a pretty darn good teacher or guide. I can get you there a lot faster than what it took me. And trust me, it was hard. There was a lot of hardship along the way. You put a lot of things aside in order to study and raise one's consciousness. So I'm able to, define it and say, this is the path of learning I've synthesized it so you can learn much quicker and get much faster, I won't say quantum level results of raising your consciousness, but certainly you're not going to spend, the 15 years that I spent learning how to get here. I can't say what time it'll take you to raise your consciousness. That's up to you. But it would be dramatically faster than trying to learn yourself. So we give you these teachings, and I call them Your Life Part 1 to 5. And a lot of it's videos to listen to and reels and pieces I've collected over the years that are meant to be, teachings and trainings, and to give you information and better understanding of how the universe works and who controls us and where we came from in our history, where we're going in our future. And all of this knowledge is part of raising your consciousness and understanding. So in order to become a master of consciousness, one has to understand where we truly came from, our true history, because our history books have been rewritten on us. A lot of it's malarkey. To think that one or two scientists, the lead was Darwin, claimed that some apes evolved into humans, and that's how it all happened. That's absolutely absurd. Lions don't evolve into giraffes or vice versa. Apes cannot evolve into humans or vice versa. It's not how true science works. So we have to discover where we truly came from. We're going to leave that for another time. And then once you understand that and our true ancient past, then a better understanding of our innate divine eternal codes and powers come to you. Put this together with who controls us now, or has controlled us now, and why we as humans are ascending and opening up to consciousness and growing and evolving. And all of that is like awakening. It's like we're remembering what our true powers were. And Yeshua, Jesus, and I study Jesus the man, not any religion that followed. I studied Yeshua, Jesus the man, what he taught us, what the truths were. And the masters of consciousness have studied the same and understand what Jesus, this character Jesus, was all about a couple of thousand years ago. And so we give that information to you to then make your own decisions, all of which it's an understanding and a journey of enlightenment. And the more you study, the more you grow. So someone can study, say, part 1 of this process. You could do it in a week. You could do it in a long weekend if you have QMA opened up. You could take several months to do it. You go at your own pace, and so forth and so forth. So it's all about, then we show you how to astral project, raise your soul out of your body and go through the veils above us in the universe and to go into higher dimensions. We're currently thought to be in the 3rd dimension, how to raise into the 4th, 5th, 6th, and so on. Now you look like you have a question, Vanessa.
No, you just...
And I know I've been rambling. Sure.
You're bringing up so many new topics and spark so many ideas for our next session and what we can talk about. But I'm pretty sure we've covered all the, not all the benefits, as you said, there's more. But we covered a lot of benefits today that come from Q&A and possibilities of becoming superhuman. So I think how to put this in a broader perspective and like how to work with it in our world should be the topic of our next session. Okay. If you're happy with that.
Yes, indeed. Problem is I can talk forever on these topics. Your job is to keep me a little more focused, perhaps. But this was, I think, a very good conversation. It was, we had a different script, so to speak, and we've gone totally off script.
But still, it's very informative. I learned a lot, and I didn't even anticipate there would be so many benefits to the program.
And again, I haven't scratched the surface yet on the benefits.
That is amazing. It's incredible, actually, but I think you get that reaction quite a lot.
Sometimes, yes. Again, this isn't for everyone, right? This is a niche awakening, so to speak. Now, one thing we should be aware of, Yeshua, Jesus, so if you're a Christian or if you're a non-Christian, most prophets, specifically Jesus, said there will be a period of ascension or awakening. And the consciousness world believes that's here and now. It actually started at or around 2012. There's a reason the Mayan calendar stopped at 2012, because that is the new ascension for human souls. So many souls have come down here to assist others, to help others, and sacrifice. Jesus was one. He and Mary Magdalena apparently came from the 12th dimension or beyond, the God dimension, and brought the Christos energy and grounded it here on Earth to help humans, because life was not going in a great direction by and large at that time for many. So it was meant to be a changing to help humanity. And he and Mary Magdalena did forecast this period of ascension. And so here we are. And the concept is that a great number of us will become better humans. We have to at least become 51% better than what we already are. So we have compassion, we have better empathy towards others, we've raised our consciousness or spiritual awareness, we're getting our diet and lifestyle organized, our health organized, and we're awakening. Our inner codes are awakening, and we're becoming more spiritually aware. So those that are naturally coming through this awakening process, everything we're speaking about today will be, I want more, this is right for me. But one thing, I don't want to throw out a warning, but you don't want to get left behind, so to speak. If you feel the calling, or this is resonating with you to raise your consciousness to the 5th dimension, then we as the human race have the ability to collectively, consciously go to the fifth dimension and live in heaven and leave the war, the poverty, the strife, the fear, the greed, the anger down here for others that don't choose to raise their consciousness. So when I was faced with that, I thought, wow, I think I want the option. I think I better raise my consciousness and figure out how one could collectively or singularly raise their consciousness into the 5th dimension. And it's about raising your frequency. Your body isn't going anywhere. It's your frequency is raising. So I think I better learn how to do that. And then I'll decide whether I actually want to go there or stay behind. I think you want to have that option and not be left behind because you didn't have the knowledge, or
definitely don't want to,
or logic was too surrounding you to say this is crazy and I shouldn't even be bothering with this, so I'm going to neglect it. You may, for yourself and your generations, be missing a major shift in humanity, which I believe we should all collectively consider and hopefully be a part of.
So QMA doesn't only have a lot of benefits that make it worth by itself in the first place, we'd also enter the era of ascension in which we don't want to be left behind, and this is the very moment to join QMA from what it sounds like to me.
It's certainly a great start and will quantum leap you into many things. beyond our comprehension, frankly.
Yes, I think we got the spark of an idea today of what that all could look like, and it gets us very excited for our next session and the next learnings we can transmit.
Thank you, Vanessa. I look forward to it. Thank you for hosting.
Thank you for all your information, JD.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. A big thanks to our audience for joining us again in our quest for enlightenment. This is your host, Vanessa Nehler, wishing you well.